Is round one here of the semifinals of El Clásico between LackLuster and DDG. We are underway, just about to get started.
Best of luck to both teams here in this best of five. Let's see who wins. There's this caster composition versus this physical composition again, but note that the only difference in this physical composition is the fact that they have a hunter in there versus a warrior. Once again, not as pressured by time, not as pressured by mana totals. And you're seeing the same strategy being employed by this team as well, and I actually really like it. Intellect on the casters.
Outside right away, you can see, if you check out outside, you can see they're trying to set things up outside. Scary Twink goes with the Shadow Mail. They're going to try and set up a sap here right away.
We're seeing that Voidwalker charge Dodgers. Oh, that's big. He wasn't stealth when the match started, so Pet can chase him down. Now, the interesting thing about stealth is the fact that it still goes after someone after they stealth. Stealth is not meant for a getaway, it's meant for an opener. That was intended.
That's gonna spoil their opener. Let's see if they want to keep this fight outside or if they're gonna start moving on inside. You can see Rick is trying to hug this border over here, trying to be in his own world, kind of how you saw in the last match the Priest was playing in his bush, but they are gonna give him attention. They're getting the fear down on Rick here.
Oh, man, yeah, Tiny Rick here is trying to LOS just a little bit. He's able to. Dodger's about half HP right now. Can't get Weakened Soul or can't get Power Shield for another about 7 seconds or so. Equation down to about 30%, 20%. Voidwalker Sacrifice comes out. They heal themselves back up with the Hellstone. The Frost Nova comes down. It is going to connect onto 2 right now. Can we see some AoE plays? Can we see some Polymorphs? Rick is going to LOS.
Rick did a great job LOSing that poly. He knew that was coming.
That's huge right now. Dodgers starting to dodge some of this damage, trying to LOS right now. Scary Twink does get sheeped here, and they're not going to get dispelled just yet. It's Rick not dispelling them, just trying to dispel them, but they are layered right now. There's the dispel.
He's hitting them with the detect magic, trying to give him a hard time with the dispels. Situational's already starting to run pretty low on mana here. They're near the boundary here.
Yeah, it's
coming on inside.
He has nothing left, and this is what I'm scared with these caster compositions. He's getting a drink.
Now just got to re-stealth off. He's not going to let Quasian get that Voidwalker. Hopefully he's going to get a sap here, I think. No, he's going to decide to open instead, and he doesn't interrupt the Voidwalker. Misses a crucial interrupt.
The rank 1 Frostbolt going on to dodges now. He might have got brought out with Arcane Explosion, maybe, but it looked like he was in range for the sap, perhaps, as they're just going to get kited. But Situational is low. Double Frost Nova comes down. All they have is wand rotations now. Every wand matters, baby. About to Harry Potter. Throw some Harry Potter DPS down to 30% HP. Dodge is taking quite a bit. If the mage had anything at all, dodges might go down. The rank 1 Frostbolt comes out. The Warlock's doing a lot. The power shield, the cycle dodges in executable HP. But these
Psychic Scream on Rick here.
Oh!
Dodges goes down.
Fight!
Oh, wrong soundbite. I want my KO one, baby, because Dodges is going to go down. But here's something to keep in mind. The Warlock and the Mage are very right now. They don't have a lot left in the tank. So we need to see a reset coming out from our caster composition, but Scary Twink might not allow for it. Now, Hunter's not necessarily the #1 class to keep these guys in combat, especially with things like Line of Sight, and they're so vulnerable to this.
It's a huge fear on Rick. As soon as Rick comes out of that poly, he sends him flying for 20 seconds. Scary is dropping to 15. And that is going to be the end of the first round here as it goes in favor of LackLuster.
Wow, I am honestly surprised that the caster composition was able to pull that off. They were so for a prolonged period of time there. You saw Quasian and Situational blinking values of mana for the last 30 seconds of that fight. And yeah, Quasian does have things like the life tap to like quick get off 1 or 2 more cheeky spellcasts, but Situational largely had to like depend on rank 1 Frostbolts and just wand rotations, but it wasn't enough damage to actually just finish off dodges. And at that point, once it is a 2 versus 3, it's an uphill battle. No matter what your composition is, some are better at 2 versus 3s than others are, but this is not going to be one of those cases where they can pull it back and get a kill. Came pretty close with how low those mana bars were from that caster cleave comp, but yeah, just they didn't allow for resets either, really. That was something they were good at, but yeah, there was enough damage from them to take that first win, put it on the board. Good stuff. Feels good, man. But honestly, I feel like if I had to favor a team going into this, the little I've done casting for these games so far, it probably would have been the melee composition, especially if you're able to get things like the sap or the physical composition with the hunter, the rogue, and the priest, just because they're not going to go These games have tended to go a little bit longer. I think for these caster comps, the best call they have is to get aggressive as soon as possible. The other option is if they're playing really safe to actually being really careful about making sure their whole team gets drinks. So like guarding a point of entry with one person that has full mana and letting the mage that might be 75% mana start to drink preemptively. I think that's going to be important if these caster comps want to go long game, that they do fit in time to get these drinks off. But personally, I like the aggression. I've always liked the aggression. So good to see that. That was actually a pretty fast game. Yeah, it feels like a lot of it feels like if you have mana, you pretty much use intellect enchant in so many cases. I've noticed it on warlocks. They get spell power, and I actually agree with that decision because they have life tap. But I feel like every other mana user we've seen, it's been consistently intellect enchants. Not always or exclusively, but very often. Oh, somehow we were in different channels. Now we're not.
I just clicked on Discord. I just noticed that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, different channels. Someone's trolling us.
Definitely. It's Boner. He's dragging us around. No, I'm just kidding. But man, that that warlock pet coming in on dodges to spoil their plans. I was just talking about how if you remember, we saw DDG last time trying to set people up in the window room, scary Twink with the shadow meld, and dodges stepping in front of him, and they were protecting their priest. You could see that they had the same idea going on outside, but that warlock pet, man, it was not very forgiving on that late stealth to start the round.
No, no, it wasn't. That's huge too.
So we checked the clip. He was way out of bounds towards the car when he casted that frostbolt. So that plus when he was moving out of bounds power, when they give him a DQ for that, so it's gonna be a win for DDG.
Oh shit! So
all right,
so
that's the first infraction that we've seen. And that's going to cost them the round. So I know I start my stream off every time, but again, I'm just going to show on my stream here. You can see this is the team start. This red line is where he was out of bounds, and he was, if you look at where my mouse is, he was around here when I saw him casting. And I know I didn't think too much of it, but those are the rules, and that's going to cost him there.
You hate to see it. I didn't notice it either. But it sounds like that might have been the case a couple of times here. Well, they got more games if they could pull it back, more games. It could be a win-win, and no matter how you look at it. Perhaps not for them if they end up losing, but
you can see they're running the line now. They can see what the boundary is. It's bonfire to bonfire.
All right.
On the outside there.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I guess we did get a little excited then on the left-hand side. All right, I guarantee it ain't gonna happen again. Sometimes people have to learn like Jeffy does, and that's the hard way. So this is gonna go in favor of the physical composition team here, which is going to be DDG. DDG is going to take that first win as a result. So that's what there was some background being talked about.
It's a best of 5 series, so hopefully hopefully this game doesn't come down to a DQ in a round, but we'll see how these guys are gonna want to play, and I have a feeling that. DDG is probably going to try, now that they're starting in the tunnel, we're probably going to see a lot of flag room and lobby fighting.
We're ready to do the countdown for the next game, okay?
Ready when you are.
Yep. Okay, incoming.
All right, here we go, round 2.
Round 2. Fight.
All right, once again, this caster comp is getting aggressive. They want to just go in there. They don't want to give the other team a time to kind of get set up right now. So as fast as possible, as fast as they get this started, the better. You are seeing the Voidwalker kind of open up onto Scary Twink. The Dodger's actually stealthing this time, so he doesn't get found out right away. That was really smart on the Warlock's side to actually do that last time, not allowing the stealth coming out from the Rogue. Which is
just going in for the sap here, but situational's in combat. He's just going to open up on him. He's not going for the sap.
These are those moments you wish you...
Situational puts himself in that window room. Very well placed. Gets that poly on Rick, but Rick pops Trinket, gets out of that right away.
Can they get it again? There's the fear.
Oh, big fear on Rick.
Situational taking a lot of damage right now. Dodges and Twinks just need to play safe. The full fear is out on Ricks. It's going to end in 10 seconds. There it breaks. It tick breaks there. There's a secondary
LOS
fear
there
once
by
again.
Dodgers.
This might be a quick one for our casters if they're able to layer this CC. Their layered CC was really, really good. There is going to be the sheep instantly going to get dispelled onto the hunter there. Rick Heels gets sheeped once again though. These physical damage dealers need to do something about these sheeps, whether it's interrupts.
Just goes for a band attempt, but they interrupt immediately. They don't even get one tick off.
Dodge is getting low right now, and they are going to be killed.
Oh, CC has been the name of this round, and DDG is feeling it.
They want to even the score up, and they're coming close to doing just that. As you saw Situational run into that room, Frost Nova, and then Polymorph just out of their range. So there wasn't really interrupts.
Play.
There really wasn't opportunity for interrupts at that point. Like there was maybe a repoly or two that maybe could have been kicked or something like that. But like other than that, when you're layering it with the fear, there was 2 fears put down too. There was so much time that there was CC on Rick Heels. Rick Heels once again is going to get sheeped, and this is what this composition needs to do. They need to layer their CC well. That's their win condition. You already saw how even with how fast that round went, our situational and equation are pretty And
I know I'm not trying to talk about rules too much here. Nobody likes when the refs speak up. Nobody likes the zebras, but it didn't influence the game. But Boner, you might want to tell DDG that they are guilty of the same infraction that they just did. Oh no, you guys play a different map. You know what? Never mind. I'm so sorry. I was just playing the DDG map last night where we don't allow a tunnel, and I just got mixed up. So completely take that back. I just saw Rick coming back from the tunnel, and I was like, oh my god, did you guys not just learn from the punishment the other team just got handed? But that is a clean victory there, an aggressive victory, I even dare say, for LackLuster's. They tie this best of 5 1-1.
Lackluster.
You saw DDG trying to set up in that window room just like they were in round 1. And man, Situational did a great job charging right in, being smart with his feet positioning, saying, if I Nova you here, you can't even dispel me in LOS in time if you wanted to. So he did a good job putting himself physically behind them, getting that Nova down, trapping them for just that 1 second, and getting that poly down, because that started that CC that DDG could just never recover from.
Yeah, there was 2 fears and like 3 polymorphs within the first 30 seconds, and they were able to finish Dodgers off by that point. Because there was just too much damage, and I think that is kind of the win condition, because if they let that go much longer, that was even a really fast game, and
that was very fast.
Yeah, and they still were like nearly blinking mana totals by the end of that. And then obviously there was a lot of spell casting there, and there was absolutely no drinking of the water or anything because it was so quick and you were constantly in combat. But I do think that that's one of their best approaches, and so I'd just like to see the aggression once again. If you let this rogue come out and sap you, and you allow for that, which this rogue should feel more comfortable sapping than usual. There's no perceptions on the board, so I'd like to, from Dodgers, I'd like to see some aggressive sapping right here. I think that'd be good for our like key for them to take this one. But yeah, this is gonna get tied up 1-1.
I thought it was really Equation played that perfectly, charging in, sending his pet in, putting his team in combat, giving no chance for a sap, letting his priest get a renew on the pet, with Mage in tow, making sure that he's not getting sapped. And man, once they got that CC down on both Rick and Scary, they were able to turn, and that round was over as quick as it started.
Yeah, it really was. Poor Rick just CC'd the whole time, and I'm not sure how he could have avoided that particular match. He was getting ready to line of sight, and there wasn't much opportunity for him to reposition, just because of when Situational went right in there and Frost Nova him in place. But that's going to be his friend here, is finding the right pillar to line of sight.
You know what's interesting to start round 1 is they had the Warlock going to Rick, and in this comp, I kind of expect a Mage to be going in and polying, but that's what we saw round 2. So I can't help but wondering if they're behind the scenes saying in the first round, all right, Equation, you're going to be going up first, and you're going to be fearing Rick, and then they're going to say, okay, now I'm going to be swapping and polying. And then the second round, I think the Situationals just went ahead and took over and said, I'm going to get in there, and I'm going to make sure that he's not going to be able to do his LOS dance, and I'm going to get that poly off as quickly as I can. And I can't help but wonder if they're going to be having the same approach, the same aggressive dive right in there, and let's make sure they can't move, and let's get that CC on the priest, and then start it off from there.
And I like that these teams have to switch which side they start on each time. So it's because otherwise I'm sure we'd see almost more similar-esque matchups with like a lot of it taking place in that back room there. But now I think this is going to be one of those where once again situational equation and Bink are going to be looking to come outside almost wherever these guys go, wherever Twinks, Dodgers, and Rick Heels starts up. They're going to be running at them. I feel like no matter where the battle takes place. So this is going to be up to Dodges to find his opportunity for a sap. Now, Situational's been good with his arcane explosions. I like that he does stealth and get ready for this. Because that's gonna be big. If he could just sap Bink and they just train Situational, I feel like they could get a quick win.
Yeah, but something that's really tough for them is even if they hop on Situational or Equation quickly, it's as simple as like, don't forget, it's not just Fear and polymorph they have to worry about. If they get a double Nova off, that's or even a triple Nova, that's 4.5 seconds dispelling time. That's a lot of time for them to separate and then get their CC. So man, it's just tough and for a physical team against this, and they just have to, I think, be playing LOS as hard as they can. Perfect. Looks like we're about to get started here in round 3 of a tied up 1-1 series. Round 1 went to DDG on a DQ because Lackluster stepped out of bounds and casted from out of bounds, but they cleaned house in round 2 to tie up the score in a pretty and determining way. They had a pretty quick round here, so let's see if DDG is going to try and change anything up, play a little more defensively this round.
Yeah, I honestly, I feel like we'll just see the aggressive play again. I think this is going to be one of the quicker series here, because they know their win condition as this next one gets started. Dodges gets a powered shield cycled on them stealth. They are going to stealth in to maybe look for some sort of sap here. Rick Heel's looking for just find somewhere where he's safe, where he can line of sight, where he doesn't get polyed, where he doesn't get feared. I feel like if either one of these lands, at that point we're going to start to see chain CCs, where it's just fear into poly, into fear, into poly. And half the time the DR is going to end on the other by the time the other wears off, and it's just going to be a nightmare. So if he could just avoid all of that altogether, that's going to be huge here. There they are.
So they know where Rick is. Oh man, Dodge is looking for his sap, but he was a little slow to it. Oh, and he gets popped by the mage, and they are on their way open here.
Yeah, no opportunity for sap, but they are doing a lot of damage to Quasian. Is it going to get kicked?
Rick trinkets out of a first poly.
Yeah.
Eats a second though. It's got 8 seconds on this one. Scary's feared at the same time, and Dodges is in trouble, but Quasian's at 50% as well.
Yeah, we're just seeing the same thing happen. Look at that fear. It's taking him to
their CC.
It's such
right as that polymorph DR kicks in, they get that fear in on Rick, and he's gone for 20 seconds. Dodge is 45% and dropping 30%.
That's just bad. That was the perfect fear, honestly. It sent him into the flag room. There's a powered shield that is cycling. There's a psychic scream, though. Come on, mate. Can we see anything? Can we see a tick of heal?
Cycling CC on Scary as well.
Is gonna die even regardless of the line of sight. It looked like it was because of a if I'm not mistaken, arcane missiles maybe there, but either way they're gonna get finished through the doorway regardless of that fact. Rick Heels finally gains control of his character. He finally gets to play the game, and it's just a look at his dead teammate's corpse right now. Almost saved him with the powered shield and the heals, but there wasn't enough throughput to actually be able to take care of their missing HP here. Scary Twink looking pretty scared himself right now. We do see the double psychic stream coming out, but it's not going to make a big enough difference as we are seeing Scary Twink fall to the might of this caster composition, taking this series 1-2.
Yeah, that's 2-1 here in favor of Lackluster's, and that is that they are not wanting to let this game get spoiled by a DQ. They are here to make a statement. You can tell that they are playing aggressively since that first round. They are just going right in for it, and they are nailing those chain CCs. They're cycling a poly, followed by fear, followed by a psychic scream, and then they'll put a poly on again. And they're not doing that to one character, they're doing that to two. They're taking care of Rick and Scary here decidedly with their CC.
Yeah, that was honestly they laid it perfectly there. Like the fear goes into one direction, and that was changed from the poly, and then they actually got the poly onto Scary Twink. It was legit Dodgers versus 3. What do you do? There's an evasion that's going to help you out enough in that case.
He was LOSing. He was doing what he could, but man, that is tough.
Maybe if evasion could dodge magic, then he might have stood a chance to live in there. But funnily enough, that's shocking me how often that gets popped at the lower not even just lower brackets. I actually noticed that a lot with rogues, that pop evasion even during like just a panic button versus just a mage or just a warlock or whatever the case might be. Warlock makes more sense maybe because there's like a pet beating on you, but you sometimes actually see that more often than one would think. Actually, I don't know if you see that in the Twinking bracket as often as I do in the World PvP bracket, but all the time I feel like
it's definitely something that I see.
I think it's just a panic thing. Maybe even like it's probably on like a similar hotkey to potion. I'm not sure.
It is most definitely a panic key. You'll see rogues tie sprint and evasion, and they'll be at 10% health and put themselves on cooldown for 5 minutes to get absolutely no use out of their cooldowns, and it's always a shame to see when that happens. But in a match like this, the only thing that evasion is going to be good for is dodging the caster pet, because it's not really going to apply to anything else. So
yeah,
if you got a pet on you,
pop it.
Pop it.
And I don't even think he got an opportunity / did, but either way, I see it so often. It's wonderful. Where's the talent point to actually be able to dodge magic from it? Actually, no, we don't want that.
His dodge is hiding in the tunnel here. I don't have a sight on him.
Yeah, I'll check it out. Oh, he's still dead right now.
Oh, okay.
Look, waiting for his res here. This could be match point.
This is match point set up for Lackluster here. It's 2-1 in their favor.
Yep. Dodge is getting his res up here, getting back to his teammates.
He ran back and body rezzed in the tunnel.
There's a lot of reasons why I feel like Priest is probably the strongest healer at this bracket, but one of them just being the fact that they have Fortitude. Just to name a couple of reasons, they have Fortitude, they have an AoE fear, they have so many tools that are good. They have the dispels, the offensive, defensive dispels.
Yeah, their coefficients are notably better as well at 19. Druids have some decent raw heals. Shamans have okay raw heals. Paladins are kind of sad sacks for healers at 19. But between their dispel, their psychic scream, and their strong raw heals alone, and fortitude, of course, that helps. Yeah, they are the healers of the 19 bracket.
Yeah, 100%. It doesn't feel like you see a lot else. I would have loved to see a little bit more shaman play, but I feel like tick for tat, the priest is just going to bring more to the table in almost every way. The only thing I guess maybe the shaman would have more of is they have the interrupts, they have their shock, really low cooldown. So versus a caster composition, that might be dominant, perhaps.
And against a physical comp, shamans aren't bad. That Earthbind is definitely a pain in the ass. That's a nice little AoE slow right there. What's that? 10 yards, I believe, on the Earthbind. That can be really big. That ticks on two people there, even for a second. Even if it's on for a second, that can get you the 5 yards you need to kite somebody around sometimes.
We can do the fourth game of this best of 5. I'm gonna do the countdown in a few seconds here.
Thank you, Boner.
No worries.
So entering round 4, 2-1 here in favor of Lackluster in this best of 5 series. We're in a match point situation. If Lackluster here walks away with the win, they're going to walk their way straight into the final.
All right, let's get this party started here. And once again, this is our caster comp, getting aggressive like I knew they would. This is what they want to do. Here's the flame strike coming out, making sure that Dodges doesn't get the sap. I would love to see a sap from Dodges. There's he shadow melded. Well, like the Warlock's been really good about that. They've been sending their pet in right away.
He knows it's coming. He knows it's coming.
No opportunity for no opportunity for a sap. There's no opportunity. They got pulled into combat. The Warlock pulled everyone into combat essentially. Situation would have been the only one, but he got in there quickly enough.
Trinkets out. Oh, he gets hit with the second poly. He gets polyed in the window room. Trinkets out and gets hit immediately with the second one. You got to watch out for that fear that's coming next onto him. They're going to chain that together. Scary already at 50%. Oh, Dodges with a great interrupt there on the rogue. That's going to help him out in a big way.
There we go. There's the power shield. Here's Rick in position to actually get some heals out. There we see Quasian trying to get the fear out. Are they going to be able to? Oh, poor Scary Twink.
Fear on Rick, and Scary goes down.
It's so close to being able to get the heals that he needed, but yeah, the CC's been layered very well here. Maybe because that's you have 2 players that you need to be watching for that CC for. So, and as soon as you get one of those lands, it feels like another one lands. So this isn't over just yet. If Dodges could pull something out of his hat, you never know, and Rick heals as well. But now it's looking grim because there's the fear and there's the GG.
LackLuster's is going to clean this up and be on their way to the finals to be playing the New Yorkers of Spacebar. And that round, that was pretty quick too. These guys had no problem getting aggressive and changing their strat up from the first round. And man, they cleaned up. And if they didn't deserve this win, I don't know who did. So congratulations to them. They won this in dominant fashion. And they're going to be playing in the finals in just a little bit. So these guys, I'm sure, are a little bit excited themselves right